Good evening and welcome to the Kinsey 6 virtual release party. Please welcome America's favorite Dragapella Beautyshop Quartet, the Kinsey 6!
Oh my gosh,
Girls,
girls!
girls, hello!
Girls! It's been
Oh,
Oh,
it's
this
you!
is so
Well,
fabulous.
everyone wants
Oh,
Oh, wow!
oh,
Well, hello, girls, and hello, all of you out there. We're the Kinsey 6, America's favorite Dragapella Beauty Shop Quartet. And we are thrilled to be here tonight for our virtual album release party for our 10th studio-ish album, Quarantunes! Now, we're assuming that all of you have already bought our album and have listened to every track more times than you can care to admit. But if you haven't, you can buy your copy at kinsey6.com right now. So tonight we have a very special event for you. This is the first time we are really making a public appearance since the beginning of the pandemic. So, we're gonna catch up for a bit, we're gonna take your hot and steamy questions, and we're gonna show a couple of videos that some have not seen the light of day ever, and we have an extra special guest who will be joining us as well. Ben Schatz, who founded the Kinsey 6 and plays our beloved Rachel, will be joining us. And Ben
Never!
also,
Wow!
so we're thrilled,
sister.
so thrilled to have us all here. So girls, who wants to start? What have you been up to during the pandemic?
Why don't you start, Winnie?
I'll start. Normally I would start and Trixie would interrupt me. But, you know, the internet being what it is, comic timing is a real pain in the ass. So I'll start.
I hope nobody interrupts you, Winnie.
I hope not either, goodness. So, I have been sequestered in an undisclosed location in Illinois, and I have taken up baking. I've also taken up lots of craft projects like all natural sex toys. My personal favorite is the avocado pit, a ball gag, and macrame sex swings. Oh, they're very exciting. I've also been brushing up on my gardening, and girls, I've taken up tennis. And you know why?
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 Well, so I can practice a backhand to hit tear gas canisters back to the cops at the protests.
Oh, Winnie!
Winnie, you're doing the good work. Wow.
Thank you.
So athletic.
I do what I can.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. So, who's next? What have you all been up to?
I'll tell you what I've been up to. I have been sequestered in my bathroom at the Trump Tower. Yes, the gold-lined fabulous facility. And I have been eating cakes and cookies every single day. I have to confess, my girlish figure is so plump and round. It makes me so pleased to bounce extra gold off my boobies these days. Ooh! And I've got these wonderful, wonderful friends who are helping me out eat and eat and eat every single day. You know, politics these days has been going a little bit crazy, and I have been, let's say, curing my ailment of politics by drinking whatever I want and eating everything in my sight. So it's been a very different experience for me this summer, and I love it. Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you out there who are finding new ways to cope, you do that, because what's going on in this country is all kinds of craziness. You gotta take care of yourself the way your body needs it, and then go out and vote the fuckers out of office. Oops, can we say fuckers? Oh,
We
it's not
can.
network TV. We can say
It's
it.
our
anything we want.
Facebook.
Vote them out! Vote them out! Have a plan and donate, donate, donate. We only have 1 week left. Oh my God! So do what you can to get them out of there and take care of yourself so you have the energy to fuck them out!
There she is, ladies and gentlemen, our favorite Trixie.
Angel, what
Bounce
have
that
you been
gold
up
off.
to?
Oh, I do. I get to follow that. How fantastic. Well, I am currently sequestered in the beautiful downtown area of Heritage Harbor Retirement Community. Yes, with my dear sainted mother, who is currently locked up. I mean, held up in the family room with her four-legged grandchildren. I have to say is bad because basically all of my neighbors are 80 and 90-year-old plus. So I found a couple gentlemen who I believe are going on heart machines and ventilators soon. So at least I should have a little extra income in the coming months.
Ooh.
Yes, I bought stock in Ben and Jerry because I basically have eaten out every freezer from Safeway through Giant through Grawls in my local supermarkets. And aside from that, and I did hear, I was so happy to hear that a small shrine was built next to Dick Dock in P-Town as a memorial to me and my ability to return this summer. So people were laying wreaths and each other in my absence. So, but at least I know that I was not completely forgotten this summer in P-Town. So, and I'm just so thrilled and happy that this is my first album. I can't believe I did this short amount of time. I thought it would at least take me, I don't know, 10 years, or at least to be as old as Rachel before I'd ever actually be on an album. So thank goodness for that.
Oh, Angel, you were extraordinarily adequate.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Well, girls, I've done so much since being locked down during the pandemic. I think it's been like 8 months, eight months at this point. I finally finished a 10-piece jigsaw puzzle. It's of a fluffy little kitten. That took me about 6 months. And then I finally got around to finishing a book called Goodnight Moon. And I have to confess, the end was a big twist. I did not see it coming. That's what I've been doing.
Bless you.
Thank you. Well, I didn't sneeze, but thank you.
You've been stretching your mind this summer. That's wonderful.
Don't hurt yourself.
Well, I did get a paper cut on the book and on the jigsaw puzzle. A lot of paper cuts during the pandemic. It's dangerous being in lockdown by myself.
It is. It really is. Well, it's good to see you all. You look fantastic. And I must say, you all sound fantastic too on the wonderful album Quarantunes, available for purchase at kinsey6.com. $12.
Oh, so let's talk a little bit about the album for those people that might be watching that haven't seen it or listened to it yet. Trixie, you arranged all of the music for this album, didn't you?
That's right. I think this is the first album where all of the songs, I arranged the music. So they all have a particular sensibility that I think you'll recognize when you hear it all the way through. And it's the first album, of course, that Angel has appeared in. So it's a brand new sound for all of our fans to enjoy. And my favorite part, I have to admit, is the artwork. Who designed the album cover but our very own Trampolina? Yes, it is true that she is a simple-minded heart of gold girl, but that simple mind makes elegant solutions. Here we are. How are we going to create an album cover called Quarantunes? And look what she made.
Oh, it's my favorite part of it. It's gorgeous. How did
Her
you?
life is a cartoon.
It is. It really. She watches a lot of cartoons, so I think it's fitting. Trampy, tell us how did that come about? How did you create those caricatures of?
Well, I've been watching a lot of Saturday morning cartoons during the pandemic, and a lot of the old Roadrunner Looney Tunes specials. And it was very easy. I was able to see that each character identifies with an animated cartoon that already exists. So my character is based off of the Roadrunner. Meet meet. Angels is based off of, well, it's a combination actually. Angels is based off of Porky Pig and Casper. And but other people, but you're so welcome. Because you're friendly, but you're not a ghost. Yeah. And
pigs are very intelligent.
Yes. And Trixie is based off of Bugs Bunny. And Winnie, of course, is based off of the Granny, who she has Tweety Bird. And and Sylvester the cat. She owns a lot of pets. I feel like that's something you would do, Winnie. You got a lot of pets?
It is. I have no pet. I've acquired no pets on the farm I've been living on here in
Hmm.
an undisclosed location in Illinois. No pets actually, but I don't eat animals. So, all the animals of the world are my pets.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aw,
I
so
love that, Winnie.
Is
Yeah.
the reason
Somebody,
why you're saying undisclosed location, Winnie, is because you're in witness protection again?
No, it's it's more of a protection of the innocent with whom I'm staying.
Ah,
So
shall we
Oh,
show them, girls? Do you mind if we show them the artwork? There's some people that are
yes,
asking to see the
Yeah,
sure.
album
let's see
We've
the
been
cover.
artwork.
talking it
Oh,
up all
please
this time and we
do.
haven't even shown it. Of course.
Yes,
There we
let's
go.
show
Look at
that to the
that.
Oh, look at
Yay!
that.
Oh, everyone pose like their character.
Oh, well, I think they're just seeing the, I don't know if they're seeing us, but yeah, stay posed.
Oh,
That
it's
is
so
so
cute.
wonderful, Trampolina. I'm
I,
so glad you created that. It's
it
been
is.
such a wonderful feast of artwork that comes from it, too. All of our publicity is based on your artwork now, and it's just
Mhm.
been wonderful sharing that joyous piece of art with the world. I have to say that the first time my mother saw it, she said, "Oh, I love it. It's wonderful. Give me a poster." So I've got to get her a poster.
Well, Trixie, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So we mentioned there's going to be lots of surprises tonight, folks. Well, I think it's time for our first surprise. Given how gorgeous the artwork is that Trampolina designed for the album, we are currently working on a line of merchandise that features
Oh,
gorgeous
yeah.
artwork. I'm thrilled to play with those, to play with all the graphics that we have, including posters for Trixie's mother. We'll have posters, we'll have T-shirts, we'll have mugs. I'm very excited about the mugs, and some other trinkets. So more ways to get your money, really. So we'll have those just in time for the holiday season. So make sure you subscribe to our mailing list at kinsey6.com, and you'll be the first one to get your Quarantunes merchandise.
I love it. I'm so excited about that.
I am
But also,
too.
I'm really excited about the album itself, the
Oh,
music
there's
on it.
that.
Oh,
It's Angel's first album with the group. Winnie, this is your second
it is my
album with the
second. The
group?
first one was our 9th album. 8 is enough, which you can also get on our website, folks. But yeah, this is your and this is how many albums for Trixie and Trampolina? Which one is this for you
I
all?
think this is my 5th or 6th.
Okay.
This would be my fourth.
Yes.
That's as high as I can count. So we're going to go with four.
number one. I'm number one.
Finally,
you
you're first
are.
in something, Angel. Huzzah!
Huzzah! And you look like quite the angel with that halo around you. You look darling.
Now, the
Trixie-
first song on the album is what really started the album. We didn't know we were going to start an album.
That's right. That's
We
right.
didn't know what we were going to do 7 months ago, frankly. We
still don't know what we're going to do 7 months from now.
we don't. We don't.
Oh, girl. So what was it? So it happened in March when everything started closing down,
Yes.
and we were discussing what are we going to do in the meantime. And Trampolina had this fabulous idea to do this song. This parody just kind of flew out of her and into our laps, and we turned it around in what, less than a week? It was
Ish, yeah.
insane.
It was
So-
very fast.
Well,
Almost
did
as
you
soon as
mention-
the quarantines were starting.
Did you
Well,
mention
not
what the-
almost
what
as
the
soon,
first
but just a
song
week
is?
from when things were closing down, we had a music video on called "Social Distance," based on Bette Midler's fabulous hit "From a Distance" in the '90s. And gosh, I remember when I was a young wee thing in the '90s, loving that song, and I was so happy that you wanted to make that a parody, Trampy, because it just brought back nostalgic, fond memories. And now we're immortalized in this album with this wonderful song
And
that
to
you
watch
wrote. This is your first parody in an album, is that right?
I do believe so. Yeah, that's my, and which was scary because it came to me and I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be asking a lot of the girls that we record our vocals and then we record a video and put it out there. Just to kind of, because the group has always commented on current events and things that are going on in the world at the time. And one of the hardest things about our group is that all four of us live in different cities across the country. So we haven't had the opportunity to really collaborate in a way like this until now.
Yeah.
And the reception for the song went so well that that Ben started writing more music for us. And lo and behold, about 2 months ago, I think I said, girls, I think we have enough music for an album now.
That's right. We have enough music that we were both writing this year and that we hadn't recorded for any album last year. So we combined them and have this fabulous collection of 16 brand new and one redux songs that have never been in an album. And girls, I don't know if you're prepared to answer this question, but I have something, I want to ask something and I'm dying to know. What is your favorite track on the album?
Oh. These are all really good.
Yeah, they are. I would say the one that I listen to I probably listen to the most and get the most joy out of would have to be Good Ventilation, which is the big finale on the album. And just because it's so musically interesting and it sounds so fun. It sounds so good. And there's just moments in it that give me goosebumps. I can just listen to it over and over. It's so good. And your arrangement, Trixie, is just delicious.
Oh, thank you, Winnie.
It's like a Trixie arrangement because there's so many beautiful Beautyshop moments that you do with it that that just resonate with people. And I think really just takes the source material and takes the best of it and fits it to what we can do vocally so well. And it just uses the instruments of our voices just wonderfully. And
Winnie, you've been isolated for so long, you're actually saying nice things about Trixie.
I know. It's only
Stop it, Winnie, it's making me horny. Oh.
We're 20 minutes in. I'll insult her in about 40 minutes.
Oh, please, I can't wait.
But while we're answering this question, folks, be sure to put your questions in the Facebook chat.
Well, that's right. We'd love to answer your questions.
But you know, girls, I'm fielding all of the comments right now, and there's just so much love happening in the comments. Daniel Patrick says, love ventilation. Gretchen says, ventilate me.
All right.
Peter says, so glad to see you all from Western PA. A lot of emojis happening. Lois Reese says desperate times call for desperate measures.
Hi, Lois. Hi, Lois. I'm desperate with you.
We're so desperate, sister. Thank you for sharing.
Lois is doing the good work. Yeah, she is.
Angel, what's your favorite track on the album?
Oh, it's I mean, I would have said, Ventilation I love because it's peppy and whatnot. I think for me, especially because it being the first album and whatnot, I would have to say is Sounds of Sirens, only because it would for all the music, and it's a lot of music I've had to learn in a very short amount of time, let me tell you. It was our first really serious song. And then just and it was for Trixie and I, there was a really great blend at the beginning that her brother paid me a very high compliment, which I was very touched by. And then when the video came out and how Trampolina was able to put that together, it's just such a solid all around piece. And it just, unfortunately it's not a peppy tune, but boy, does it make you think.
Yeah, I was actually going to say Sound of Sirens is probably my favorite. The response that we got when that video came out was so moving. But if I had to pick one that hasn't been picked, that Angel didn't pick, I'm gonna have to go with There's a Little Shit Inside of Everyone. It is the song that we actually started doing last year in our show, Naked Drag Queens Singing. And then it ended up being the opening number for our show this year, Electile Dysfunction, which only a handful of audiences got to see in Puerto Vallarta back in
Yeah.
January.
It's ironic.
And I love that song. It's just so fun.
It's really
I'm glad you mentioned that, Trampolina. It is a hoot of a song. It's a joy to sing it without dancing around the stage, because boy, did that song win me on stage, huh? It is a hoot. It's a hoot of a song. And for those of you who have seen that song live, you know there's nothing like it. And there is a little shit inside of every one of us. So
I can't wait to see you do Mad Attorney General live.
Well,
maybe we won't have to.
Maybe we won't have. I'm hoping we don't have to, Angel.
Oh, I just once. We have to. Well, and I have to. Well, I have that. It is, and the album sounds so brilliant. And Trixie, your mixing of us are, because we are in 4 separate time zones, for gosh sake. But I have to say, I do miss harmonizing with the 3 of you so much.
Oh,
yeah, it is. Likewise. It is.
Yeah, there's nothing like community singing. Well, there's a bunch of things that feel really good.
Trixie.
Yeah.
Trixie.
Oh, well, I was going to say community singing is a wonderful experience. It's one of the oldest practices in all of human history, where if you can make a sound, you can sing. So we're following a tradition that goes back millennia. And when we're deprived of it, of course it feels bad, because it's in our bones, it's in our DNA to get together and make a sound. And this experience of recording our audio from thousands of miles apart from each other on very, very different kinds of equipment, it's unusual. Nothing prepares you for this. And no one can prepare you for anything like this. And yet we can pull it together and create an album that sounds like we're in the same space.
And it
brings
does.
a similar kind of joy to when we do sing together. It's not the same. Of course not. It will never be the same. But it has that spark. And I'm so proud of all of you girls being able to, put that together. No one said go on and make an album in March or April or any of that time. Go on and make any kind of music. 1 song is hard enough. We made a video, and 2, and 3, and then we have made that crazy decision to make an album. My goodness, how many acappella groups out there have made an album during quarantine?
Let me see. I don't think anybody's responding. Nope. I don't think anybody.
Pentatonics didn't. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I'm sure there are some, but it's very rare. It's incredibly rare to make any kind of ensemble music in this kind of environment. And yet we did it. And we're offering you all out there, ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful thing. And I hope you can experience it, because I've listened to each song seriously dozens, if not hundreds of times in my experience, having to put it all together and mix it. And I have not lost my joy hearing every single track, knowing that this was created under such incredible circumstances. Not only are we thousands of miles apart, working on different kinds of equipment, not ever having rehearsed this music, almost all of it is brand new to each and every one of us. We're also under incredible duress because of the national politics that's going on and the quarantine itself, COVID-19. Can you imagine all of this going on?
And for those of us who are not technically inclined like the rest of my sisters, it has been quite the education in the past 5 months.
It's quite the experience for all of us and for everyone who's going to experience it. You're going to experience joy from crisis. And that, my friends, is going to be something very special. And it's immortalized in this CD that you're going to love, I hope, for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, but what's your favorite song?
Oh, that. I have. Oh my goodness. It's hard to decide. They're all my children. It's like Sophie's Choice. Shit.
Sophie didn't have that many children.
No, she didn't.
I'm going to have to say that I have two favorites. The first one is the Kinsey 6 theme song Redux.
It is
explain what that means. Explain what that means.
Oh, so in the original formation of the Kinsey Six, there is a song called the Kinsey Six theme song that was sung by them. And it's this wonderful encapsulation of what the Kinsey Six do. And each character has a little spotlight in it. So it's kind of an introduction to everyone. And I thought that it would be a great showcase for a new generation. So I rewrote the original. I kept the entirety of the melody that Ben Schatz created in 1997 or 98.
Seven-ish.
And last year, I
97.
wrote a brand new arrangement that was inspired by Manhattan Transfer and our own work in the past few years. And I wanted to up the energy a little bit more and give it a new spin. So it's one of my favorites because, number one, because I worked so much on creating a new sound for us. And number two, that you girls did a fabulous job on it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we performed this last year in Provincetown every day. And I think we captured the joy that comes from the live performance in this version of it. And it's just absolutely wonderful. And my second favorite is Which Side Are You On? Which is an original from Ben Schatz, who wrote, as usual, all of the lyrics and most of the original tunes, all of the original tunes, excuse me. It is one of our most serious songs, and given the incredibly densely negative atmosphere we have in this country, something had to be said. And it was written soon after the George Floyd murder earlier this summer, and the riots that were happening, the protests that were happening afterwards. We had to say something. We couldn't say silence. And Ben wrote this incredible number, and I wrote the arrangement. And we have a music video, if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, that is just a wonderful experience. Well, I don't know if wonderful is the right word. Urgent, powerful, urgent and powerful and impactful. Yeah. And I think that it's captured in the audio that we created also. It's just one of my all-time favorite pieces that we've done.
Wonderful.
May I interject a quick story?
How
sure.
quick?
When you mentioned the fact of the Kinsey theme song, my opening night in Provincetown, I will never forget, because it was my first time doing the show and we had getting ready to go out into the street, and we did a shorter version to Bark on the Street. You said, oh, we're going to cut from here to here and so forth. And then literally, as we hit the stage on my opening night, we assumed the positions, and the first thought in my head was, oh my God, I now have to sing the whole song. And I could not think, it was the most absolutely biggest brain fart I've ever had in my life, but then could not get out of my head the rest of the show. I don't have ever told you girls that story. But that was right as you were about, first I was like, oh my God, we have to sing the whole song now. Anyway, I'm sorry, please continue.
No, we have to bring in our special guest in a second. Yes, but I've been adding some of the questions into the chat here. We had a question earlier. What was the hardest song to record?
That's from Lars. Thank you, Lars. My hardest song was probably our Gilbert and Sullivan parody, Mad Attorney General.
I can't imagine why.
I can't. It's like 5 words, but somehow it was a pain in the ass to do. It's a patter song, and it really it moves. And with the thing about, and those of you who are Kinsey Six scholars from our 25 years of doing Dragapella, you'll know that Ben Schatz authors not unintelligent stuff. It's intelligent stuff, and it's a lot of words. Like, there's some really meaty words. So it has its own unique challenges that the original Gilbert and Sullivan doesn't. So that was a challenge to get recorded. And I'm certainly hoping I never have to do it live. So please make sure we no longer have Bill Barr as our Attorney General, folks. Thank you.
Who else?
Good ventilation for me, only because having to go from the bass part of da 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 blah blah blah, and then I'm sure somebody else then went up to the high. So the fact that I had to go directly from that to literally every note of my range was used in that song for like 16 measures. It was crazy, but I got it.
I knew you could get it.
My
Kinsey,
hardest,
what's the
I,
something we can't do?
I would say Matt Attorney General was the hardest to record, but just for the lyrics. But in terms of the thing that took me the most time to record, it was holding out the final long note in the Let It Go parody that we did, because we're also running our own tech. What a lot of people might not know is that we are set up in our own home offices with recording equipment, and you have to be a certain distance from the microphone, otherwise it distorts. So I had to record myself holding that note maybe like 10 times or something. And I was like, I think I passed out at one moment. I don't know. Did the song happen? Did we ever finish it?
Eventually.
It's done. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Great.
I bet that was challenging. Trix, how about you? And then we'll get to our special guest.
Oh gosh, I have to admit that they were all difficult. They all each had their challenges.
Mhm.
The hardest one for me was also a long note, and it was tomorrow. There's a long note that I hold through the modulation, the double modulation in the song. And the problem wasn't that I couldn't hold it, it's that I kept distorting the mic.
Wow.
So for those of you who don't record your own audio, distortion happens when you're too loud or too close to the microphone, and it creates a sound wave that is cut off at the ends, at the top and the bottom, that you can't really adjust in mixing.
Yeah.
So it's something that you don't really want. But the problem for me was that it's such a big note, and I wanted to capture the bigness and power of it, and I couldn't gauge. It was difficult to gauge the distance from myself and the mic and find that sweet spot where you can still capture the power of the note. Because if I was too far, then it sounded like a distance and it was just bad. And if it was too close, of course, it would distort. So eventually I found it, and I think it sounds glorious.
It's glorious. It's a glorious, glorious moment in that song. And I mean, the challenge, normally we would have an engineer who would adjust accordingly, or compensate for, for overpowering the microphone. But we have to do that ourselves. But well done, Trixie. It's one of my favorite parts of that double modulation.
Mitchell just asked, what is double modulation?
Oh, what's a double modulation? Well, music, when you're writing music, you're usually in a key, let's say G major. If it's the tomorrow, I think it's in D. Well, let's not say that because I'll probably be wrong. But anyway, it starts off in a major key, and eventually a song shifts, usually during a bridge in a pop song, and it feels like it's lifted up to a different space, a different level, a new energy, a higher emanation, right? And I thought that tomorrow, the usual song or the usual arrangement of the song doesn't have any modulation at all. And I thought, oh, we should add that because why not? And so when I originally wrote it, it had one modulation. And when I was listening to it, I said, how audacious would it be to have two? Is that terrible? Is that cheesy? Of course it is. It's terribly cheesy. But I wanted to do it anyway. So we did it and threw it in. And I think it's just one of the most fun things that we do is this crazy double modulation that for the song, it fits.
It does. And who cares if it's in bad taste? Because
Beyonce does it all the time.
Speaking of bad taste, how about we bring in our special guest?
I think it's time. I think he's been waiting. People have been asking, where's Ben on the comments? So let's go ahead and welcome to our Zoom party, Ben/Rachel. Coming on in. We're going to give her a second to join there.
Oh my goodness!
Hi, Ben!
Hi!
Can you unmute him?
Go ahead and unmute yourself, girl.
Waiting.
There we go.
Asking, where's Ben?
Oh, that's Ben in her boudoir. Oh my goodness.
Our Zoom party.
Ben, can you go ahead and turn off your Facebook?
Coming on in.
Do I need to turn off my Facebook so that I?
Yes.
There
Hold on
Oh
just
my
a moment.
goodness! Go ahead.
Wow, it's like a time warp.
Oh, there we
It's the
go.
time difference support of IARTA.
Holy cow.
Excellent.
Welcome, Ben. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you, darling.
It
How are
is.
things in Puerto Vallarta?
Well, you know, I mean, no, kind of okay.
Yay.
I'm all bored. But, you know, basically fine. I miss you girls.
Oh, we miss you.
I miss you.
Yeah.
Gee.
Yeah.
Well,
Do I
Ben,
get-
so
Do I get to say which is my favorite song?
Oh,
Sure.
yes, of
Yeah.
course. What's your favorite song?
yeah,
Did
you
you
can
say-
answer any of the questions that have been thrown out, or just
I mean,
ask.
okay, I'll answer which was the most difficult for me to record. None of them.
Oh,
Lucky
I have a related
you.
question. I have a related question I'll ask after you answer this one.
Okay, so I would have to say either Sound of Sirens or Mad Attorney General. I'm really proud of that one. And when that video comes out, people, I really want you to share it because I lyricked it to death. It's one of my most ambitious songs lyrically, and so I'm really proud of it. I can't wait till and when you listen to it, you're gonna have to read the lyrics. Although I was telling Winnie, she did an incredible job of enunciating, as did the group. I mean, doing backs in really fast with really tight lyrics in different cities, and then Trixie having to mix it. That is an accomplishment that is truly remarkable. So you guys watching have no idea how difficult it has been for these girls to produce what. And I would bow down, but I would hit my head on the computer, and that wouldn't be pretty.
Aw, thank you, Ben.
Love you, sis.
Thank you.
Sweet. Well, I do have a question for you about the album. Ben, what was your favorite song to write? Which one gave you the most joy? Like,
Oh, yeah.
God, I gotta do this.
Definitely Mad Attorney General.
Oh, that? Okay.
Again, Sound of Sirens, because when I wrote it, I was like, I was really feeling it, and it was a departure for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just had this feeling, and I was not at all unpushy with the group. I was like, when I was like, this is right. This needs to be said. This is different from what we do, and I really was just I used my best legal convincing powers to get the group to do it, which was fine. I think somebody who shall remain nameless didn't like the original song.
That's me. I hate it.
Which I think is
I am
totally-
not shy to admit that I hate that song,
Well, you should be.
but I'm not.
But Mad Attorney General, I was just so proud of it and having so much fun, and it was just so much work, but I loved writing it, so I can't wait till that comes out on video. I just can't wait.
I have to say that it's true that Ben, I hated that song when it was first suggested that we do Sounds of Sirens. I'm like, ugh, that treacly nonsense from back in the day. Ugh. And then I listened to it and I realized, what is wrong with me, you cold-hearted bitch? And
There you go.
it's a wonderful
That's
song.
what we've been asking you for years, Trixie.
You know what? You know what
Pandemic?
tainted me?
Quarantine has been
Realize
good
this?
for you.
What tainted me was the movie The Graduate, because I hated that movie. And at the end, they played that song. So that carried over the hatred of what was going on in that movie to the song. So it wasn't really about the song at all. It was about the movie. So I should have.
The theme of that movie is all about your plastic surgery. Plastics. If you haven't seen the movie, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that it makes absolutely no sense. But so listening to it and working on the song, I realized that is a wonderful piece of music, and I was so actually happy and to be able to turn it around into something that we do. And I'm very proud of that song too.
It's a beautiful
So
piece.
thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's like I've been so happy to have. It's not most writers, you know, they write shit and then no one performs it. So it's been really exciting to have an outlet and to have a group of willing victims who are willing to perform the song and then perform it to be heard by more willing victims. So that's incredibly exciting. I do want to mention one challenge about writing in quarantine, which is the time lag between writing a song and having it come out on video is, what's the technical term? Endless. Yes.
Yes.
Because there are so many steps. And so one of the challenges has been to write something and say, in 4 months, this is going to feel really timely. So it has to sound like it's of the moment, but I have to be anticipating what I think is going to be happening in several months. And that has been, so there have been lots of ideas I've had that I haven't even brought to the group because I know that they won't be able to produce something in time. And so that's been one of the unique challenges of writing for the Kinsey Six in quarantine. I mean, it's generally a problem with writing for the Kinseys, but it's been more of one now. And people are looking for timely and topical. So.
I know with Let It Go, we actually did you wrote the song, and then by the time we got around to recording it, we checked in with you to be like, hey, is there anything you want to add to this? And you changed it, and it actually it made for a much better song. It had a lot more bite to it by the time we got around to it. That was even more topical and continues to be. So that was
I had blocked that out. I mean, I had forgotten.
I know that because there was a question about lyrics. So because the lyrics are so much are a good part of what we do, and they're so clever. We do have a lyric sheet that comes along with the album when you buy it. For those of you who pre-ordered, yours will be emailed to you shortly. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Wait, show that more to the camera. It's a little off the camera.
Yeah, center that.
Put it on your face.
There you go.
Yeah,
there we go. Buy our fucking CD,
album.
Girls
The
Need
Girls
Money,
Need
and
Money.
By These Girls.
I mean me.
Oh, that's right. You get your royalties.
Yes.
Girls gotta get paid.
Winnie, do you want to field some of the other questions that I've added in there?
Yeah, there's some great ones in here. There's a question about how retirement is treating you, Ben. This would have been a very different situation if it weren't under pandemic.
It's fantastic.
But you started before everything was shut down. You were on a cruise. You were dealing with a big situation around that. I don't know if you want to go into it or not. Probably not. But
I mean, I retired. I was like, you know what? I'm ready. I was tired of traveling for work. I'm going to retire and I'm going to travel. And I have been traveling to the kitchen, to the fridge.
Your house, that's not an easy task.
Yeah, I did get a little travel in before this started, but I loved everything about performing with the Kinseys except the travel, and it was just too it was too wearing on me after a while, and I realized that as much as I loved the group, it wasn't making me happy anymore. But to be able to write is such a gift because it keeps me in this group's world, and it gives I got a lot of opinions, and so it gives me an avenue to get shit off my chest. So that's been really helpful during this incredibly annoying time. Vote, motherfuckers, vote. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
And you're doing a lot of writing. Like you're making a time where you're doing just writing, and you're writing stuff for us, yes. But you have other writing projects you're doing too, yeah.
Thank you for asking. I am actually writing a book about my amazing grandmother.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, she was an immigrant. She was a lefty activist, and she was the best of everything in me, and a truly extraordinary woman. And now I'm in the process of getting her letters, various letters translated from Yiddish and from Russian, and coming up with all these amazing discoveries, which I discussed with my mom. And I know my sister's watching. Judy, I've got some things to tell you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I decided I wanted to, I needed to have a project while I was, while I was locked up. I said, well, let's make this a writer's retreat. So I'm working on this book. I don't know when I'll be finished with it, but it's very different from anything I've ever done, which is what I always like to do, things that are very different from things I've done before. That's when you're growing. So, so I'm very excited and terrified by the book, but she is an amazing inspiration, and I'm looking forward to the book having been written.
I'm looking forward to reading
I've
it.
written about half a book, and now I'm learning
That's a lot.
And now I'm learning all this new stuff, and so I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. So it's but what an extraordinary human being! Probably the most extraordinary human being I've ever known.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to read it, and maybe we'll do a Dragapella musical based on your Bubby. That'd be fabulous. Well, I love seeing new things you're doing, and you're right. You have been known to do things that are completely just a totally different shift. So let's take a look back at a big shift that you made a long time ago that has an impact on all of our lives. Trampolina?
Sure.
It's time for and Elizabeth Vargas.
What could make a successful man, a lawyer, presidential advisor, Harvard graduate, throw off the bonds of convention, put on a dress, and start to sing? Tonight's Night Shift is when you'll have to see and hear for yourself.
What we do in our shows is we constantly surprise people. And I love that. I love surprising people. If you had told me when I graduated from law school that I'd be doing this, I would never have believed you.
What's that noise? Joy of joys. It's the girl group made of boys.
My name is Ben Schatz. My character's name is Rachel. People look at me and say, you changed from being a lawyer to a singing drag queen. That's an amazingly remarkable transition. As long as I'm alive, Rachel will be alive. But for me, it's the same thing. This is my work outfit. It's no different from putting on a suit. It's about pushing the cultural envelope. I love what I'm allowed to get away with once this process is complete. When I was at Harvard, there weren't like gay rights jobs, but I decided that that's what I was going to do. My work became known, and so I served on President Clinton's AIDS Council for about 4.5 years. I really felt that I was making a true, real, important contribution. In retrospect, I was playing a role. So now we are going to charm, harass, harangue, convince people into coming to see our show.
Better come to see us, no, we're not gonna bite. Better take a postcard. Take it, damn it.
The role I play now is a lot more fun.
Thank you.
When I'm in drag, I'm absolutely fearless. Stop! Drag queen crossing, no, you may not proceed. Take your time, baby. I will walk up to anybody and I will say anything.
Let's come out of the street so we all aren't dead for the 10 o'clock show.
Use the little song I wrote.
I write most of our songs from my experience.
Don't be happy. Worry.
When you can make people laugh and when you can touch their hearts, you can open them up in a way like no other. We're not just about silly fun. We have some serious content, but we do it under the guise of humor.
I really love you, but we cannot get married.
I actually feel that as a songwriter and a performer, I'm able to accomplish more to challenge their assumptions than I did when I was in a suit and tie. A lot of people come see our show and they think very differently about a bunch of issues than they did when they came. Or at least that's my hope.
Ben Schatz and his group start their Manhattan engagement at Studio 54 in October.
There it is.
Wow!
That was so cool.
Wow!
In case people are wondering, no, I had no idea they were going to be showing that, and I haven't seen that in 19 years.
Yay!
It's
Wow.
wild. And it's and you know, it's funny, some people had mentioned in the comments earlier, Judy mentioned gosh, I hope you guys don't have to bring back Chapel of Love. And then it was in this, and it was in the video.
Right. As was the original theme song.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That was really cool. I've been, for people that are out there watching that don't know, I hoard all of the Kinsey 6 archives, all of the VHS tapes.
Is that WHORED?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In this case, yes. I give them out as gifts for my one night stands that come over. Everyone gets a parting VHS copy of an old Kinsey 6 show. And I've been digitizing them, and I came across the features that were shown on prime time leading up to the off-Broadway run in 2001. That was the ABC 2020 Downtown feature that aired on September 7th, 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild times, huh?
Wow, that blows me away. Is this going to be something that people, this shows you how much I know. Will this be something that people can watch not live?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I mean, they'll have to be alive, but it'll be recorded, so.
Yes, we'll be posting this same recording in our YouTube and on Facebook.
Yes.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
there's. Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Thank you, Ben.
That was the message that Rachel wanted to send.
Oh, that's from Rachel.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
I was wondering if we'd get a glimpse of her
Her
tonight.
hair and dress are downstairs in the closet.
I bet they're in pristine condition.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah. We won't go there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for folks
welcome
watching, we told Ben that we were going to play this like the match game. So who knows what he'll be doing tonight, really. That's the only reason we got him to do this. There was something in the video, and you've talked about this before, and there's a question about it, is how you get inspired to do a parody. Like, do you hear a song that, is it song lyrics, or are the lyrics lead the song?
Lyrics lead to song.
Yeah.
I always will play with words, as in when she said hoard. And so I hear something and all of a sudden something will click. And then I decide whether or not it's worth it to try to work up a whole parody. But one of the things that I try to do with parodies is to mimic as closely as possible the original rhyme scheme, and to use words that are used in the song, but to change it so that it means the exact opposite of what was originally written. So it's a sort of like, how can I take this song and completely fuck with its meaning in a really fun way, and sometimes in a way that has something important to say, and sometimes in a way that's just silly. And what's one of the things I'm looking forward to, if Biden wins, is being able to just be silly again, and not just having to be perennially outraged. And I suspect a whole lot of people who are listening to this right now feel exactly the same way. I want to be able to just every once in a while be light and not have something to say about how incredibly fucked up things are. So
Yeah, we in the songs we talk about, working like there's still work to do after November 3rd, and the presidential election certainly is not the end all be all, but it's having just the bullshit of the presidency and everything that comes with it, with Trumpism. Trumpism, it will not magically
No,
go
at
away,
all.
and we'll have plenty to work about. But at least there's one less thing to worry about.
Right.
We'll be there.
That's true. There will be plenty of idiocy to skewer.
Absolutely. And you're the probably most political savvy of all five of us here. So a week out from the election, for folks watching and they're nervous, they don't know, oh God, what can I do between now and then? What's your advice as to who can they support right now to make a difference in the next week, Ben?
Okay. I would, I would contribute some to Biden. I would contribute to Fair Fight, Stacey Abrams' group, in terms of voter suppression. And I would contribute to some of the key Senate races, including the two in Georgia, Ossoff and Warnock, Cunningham in North Carolina, Bullock in Montana, Bollier in Kansas.
I've been given to Barbara. Dr. Barbara Boyer.
Yes, exactly. And of course, Jamie Harrison in South Carolina. There are so many tight Senate races. So I've been focusing on trying to, one of my hobbies over the last few months has been following politics obsessively and coming up with strategies about where people's bucks can make the most difference. So in fact, what I'll do is I will post something on Rachel's page, Rachel Kinsey, by tomorrow about what Senate candidates you can give to make the most difference. Because right now, so many of them are a point or two apart. And if we can get a strong Senate, we can really make some progress. So thank you for asking, and I will post that tomorrow. That'll give me something fun to do.
Yay! Thank you for posting that. We'll share it to the Kinsey 6 page, folks. It'll be a nice break from shamelessly shilling our new album, Quarantunes, which you can get at kinsey6.com. And that's why we're here tonight. Reminder of that. So we thank you.
Kinsey6.com.
Yes. Oh goodness, we're so excited. So
see, Trampolina is not the only one who does impressive graphics.
That should have been the actual album. That was the first draft of the album cover, actually. It just says buy our fucking album.
That'll be album 11.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Can you believe it, Ben? You've made enough music to fill 10, almost 11 albums, because a lot of the songs that you wrote are not on albums. There's like a whole
I still
want songs that are not yet recorded.
I still want Baboon.
Oh, Baboon.
Yes. It's a song.
Did we not put it on greatest hits? Did we still decide it wasn't?
We needed to rearrange. Didn't we need to rearrange it, or did we end up? Did we end up rearranging it?
I never rearranged it.
Right. So we have a parody of My Beautiful Balloon, Up, Up and Away, except this is now My Beautiful Baboon. And it is a song that it is either hated or loved by those who have seen it. But it is one that I most regret has not made it onto an album.
Well, there's still time. The parodies that aren't or weren't, or the trash bin of parodies that we've done, and they just didn't have any traction, is quite full. One that came up last week was one, and I don't think it's on 8 is Enough. Like Where You Bleed is not on 8 is Enough, is it?
Oh no, yeah.
We didn't record that song either.
But it's perfect for this season of vampires.
Oh, that's true. Right, and then there's the parodies that we never recorded, like the one that I wrote that Winnie 1.0, Erwin Keller, who was always the voice of reason in the group. I wanted to do a parody of someone to watch over me called Somebody's Crotch Over Me. And I wrote a great parody of it, but he said he liked the original song too much and he didn't want to ruin it for himself.
That's a shame.
Well, Ben, I have news for you.
Yes. Right,
Oh,
exactly.
Jade,
I'm
Jade,
married to the original Gershwin.
so Jade, our friend Jade Winnie, who we did a live stream with a couple weeks ago, she does say that My Beautiful Baboon is on Greatest Hits. So we must have used an old bootleg and refurbished it for the Greatest Hits.
Oh, wow.
So that is available to download at kinsey6.com.
That's on Greatest Hits?
If you want to hear the baboon song.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jade.
Wow.
Shows you how much I listen to our albums.
I thought it might have made it on there, and
Yeah.
but we didn't record it ourselves. It's an old archival recording of the original group.
But at least
doing
you're
it.
on it.
Yeah, you're on it. You're on
Yeah.
it, Ben.
Well, I'll ask you about that Gershwin song, Ben, and we'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be so fun to arrange. It's a
I probably
beautiful
have the
song.
lyrics. I probably have the lyrics somewhere.
Well,
If not, it could be recreated.
I
Oh,
mean,
and
or
then there's the,
touch it up. You know, it's desperate time, folks. It's been about 7 months.
I have a favorite one that we never did that was never made it into completion, and I don't know if I can even say it because it's so awful.
I know the one you're talking about. How strange. How strange.
Oh no, not that one.
Oh,
The-
okay.
No.
No, you can't say that.
No.
I know. That's why I'm not saying it.
But actually, I'm gonna say something to people. So there are things that we come up with sometimes, and we think they're so really funny, but they're wrong. They're potentially hurtful in a way that we don't want to be hurtful. And so even though they're incredibly funny, we would not feel good about doing it. You can be funny about 10 million things. You don't have to say everything that comes to your mind just because it's funny, if it will be hurtful.
That's right.
And so there was a song that we thought was incredibly funny and just too hurtful. And so we're never going to say what that song is.
We have a rule amongst the new group that we call "What Would Erwin Do?" when we have a conundrum like that, and it's very useful because Erwin, who was Winnie 1.0, had probably the most steely sense of justice and morals, and
Which is why he's no rabbi.
Precisely.
Yes. So it makes sense. So when we
Are
come up,
you implying I have no morals?
I'm not.
Are you implying that I have no morals?
I have no morals. So whenever something like that happens, we ask ourselves, what would Erwin do? And it easily answers the question for us. It's a yes or no. Would he say yes to it or not? And if he says no, then we don't do it.
If the question has to be asked,
yeah, because
sometimes
the truth is, I don't trust my own sense of humor because I
don't trust your sense of humor. There are times now that I say, "What would Ben do?" And if Trixie goes along with it, I think sometimes that's the new line. If Trixie thinks it's good and we're all questioning it, it might be too far.
It is. It's too far. Don't do it. If I love it, don't do it.
Yeah, the difference between Trixie and the person behind Trixie is quite vast in terms of their sensibilities.
Very true.
Trixie is very elegant, and the person behind Trixie is a big old walk-in trash can. Hey, I didn't
No
say
offense taken, and that's the God honest truth.
it's true. Bless her.
She
But
shaved.
boy, can she mix and arrange songs that are just terrific.
Yes.
Well, it's getting along late, folks, so we have one more surprise for you. We've talked ad nauseum a lot about this Mad Attorney General song that we have. That's a Winnie solo, and it's a beast. Well, the video is not quite ready yet, but Trampolina was able to put together a little sneak preview for all of you here tonight. So, without further ado, let's do it. I am the very model of a mad attorney general. I'll keep you safe from black and brown folks and trans people's genitals. If you agree my power should be complete and categorical, you are more dumb than freak, as for me freedom is rhetorical. Women's back and LGBT marches are too radical, but church and state is great when Christianity's fanatical. Like tear gas protests, Muslim murder, and there's no more rotten news. Ooh, rotten news. I've got it. I make up legal theories discredited and not in use.
That's fabulous, Winnie. That's just the beginning of the song. Like, that's not even the fastest part, but those lyrics that you wrote, Ben, are already just that 30 seconds. You have to go back and re-listen to it and really absorb what's being said. That's what I love about Kinsey 6 music is you get more upon repeated listenings on our.
It's kind of like the coronavirus. The more exposure, the greater the risk.
Ah,
yes, that makes sense. Winnie, I have to give it to you. Kudos on making every single word understandable. It's just a miracle that you got through the entire thing, and especially the fast part at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, you have not seen the best part at all. It's a feat of human amazingness. I can't praise you enough. It is just incredible the way you do it. Wonderful. Every single word. That song is just so crazy, insane. I can't wait to do it live, Winnie.
You must have used your extra strength polygrip for that one.
Is there a drag? That would be a good drag name, Polygrip.
I think there is one.
Okay.
Winnie, did you go on mute?
I sure did.
Wait, insult me again, then I missed it.
What?
I said, insult me again, then I missed it.
I don't know if I did.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'll take that as a yay.
Being nice, you better take it.
We've been apart entirely too long, girls.
Yes.
You know.
We're starting to like each other.
There was a question from one of our fans, from Rob. How often do you have to re-record a take? And often for that song, there were a lot of takes. Fun fact, I will say, with the exception of, there's a lot of takes for all of them, but my other solo that's on Quarantunes is The Worst Nobel. And that, which is, the audiences love that song. Ben, the lyrics are so juicy and so fun, and Jeff's setting of that traditional Cornish carol is really something. But I just get to interpret all of it. But that one, I did that solo in one take, and I just did it, like, okay, well then I'll revisit it. And I listened to it, I'm like, it's not bad. I let it sit. I really went back to think I was going to re-record some pieces of it, but frankly, I was very happy with it. I Jennifer Holiday'd the whole thing. One take, done. See you later. Take my fur and my dog and went home.
Well, and then you have to factor how many takes we do, but then how many takes we save. Because I could probably do 20 takes of a song that then gets down to 5, that gets down to 3, which I then send to Trixie, and she goes, no, those don't work, record 6 more. So yeah, it just keeps going on and on. But
I never tell you to record 6 more, darling. I just tell you to record it correctly.
Ooh.
Oh, look at the time. Did you see we're getting close to the end of this?
Oh, she's getting salty. I love it.
Did your Xanax kick in, Trixie?
Now, this was the question about re-recording takes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for people to know that the songs that we recorded at the beginning of the pandemic for our music videos have been re-recorded specially for the album. So Social Distance and the Rocky Horror parody, Don't You Touch Me, those we ended up re-recording, which I actually really enjoyed going back to them.
It was
far into the process and going back to those songs again and giving them a little breath of life.
Well, and to watch how our video prowess has improved since from going from Social Distance, where I remember my mother following me around with a camera outside while I was walking the dogs, to what you've now been able to do with the current video. So we've come a long way, baby, in that respect. But I do want to say, Trixie, I do want to make this, I want the world to hear, could not have, because this was my first album and because I have had to learn so much in these 5 months because I am not technically inclined. I want to thank you and the other girls for all of your help in coaching me through this process because I would not have been able to do it without your help. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And Angel, if we wouldn't have put you through it if we didn't know that you could do it. So we knew that it was there. It just had to, you know, get through the technical challenges. How many drag queens are recording music in acappella for the first time, that the song that they've never learned before? And
Wait, let me check the comments again.
Check that
Yeah,
again.
nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, at
So
least
what
I
you're
have this wig
doing,
now for all
what
the
you're
hair I
doing
pulled
is
out.
unprecedented for many, many, many people.
Yes.
And it takes a certain kind of person to be able to pull it off, and you did it. So thank you for your hard work.
Now buy the album to listen to it.
Kinsey6.com. We've done so much work this year without being together. It's kind of wild.
without getting paid for it.
Or without getting
yes.
paid for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
joy of creation.
It really is something. Yeah, well, you know, we're getting to that witching hour, and it's not just witching season, folks. Do you have any final things to say? Now would be the time.
Well, do we have any final questions? Any burning questions?
What do you
from
see,
our
girls?
friends?
Trampolina, anything on the ticker there?
everyone is just saying beautiful, beautiful comments. Maurice Molino just commented, bye, 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 bye. Not like he's leaving, but to buy the album.
Go,
to buy the album.
You. Well, that's sweet.
Deborah Brooks asks if we have a tip jar.
We do. Yes, you go to our homepage, kinsey6.com, and there's a tip jar right on the homepage if you scroll down on there. We're happy to take money from any of you. Thank you. Any amount is wonderful. I'm sure a lot of you know this, but this year has been devastating, and that's mildly putting it, for the arts. We've had, you know, more than a year's worth of shows absolutely wiped away. And to be able to say when we can do it, and being an ensemble is a major strength that we have, but it's also a major, it puts us at greater risk when it comes to a virus that is spread by, you know, by singing, by things coming out of our mouths. And singing is the best way to spread it. So we're being incredibly smart, and we need to keep ourselves safe before we can perform again. And in the meantime, we're making these videos, we're making all of this content, and anything you give us is money we otherwise would not have. And that puts it very bluntly. So thank you. You can buy the album, buy lots of merchandise that we have. We'll have more Quarantunes merchandise that we'll be releasing in the coming weeks, just before the holidays. And that's another way you can give us money, or you can just, you know, throw us a buck.
And don't forget, the holidays are coming up.
Our
So
tip jar, that is.
It's the perfect gift for like Jared Kushner, Ivanka.
Absolutely.
Yeah, any of those people. I'm sure they would appreciate your getting them the album, because they'll need something to listen to.
Yeah, please send a copy to Bill Barr.
There are people asking when we're going to be performing again, and in all honesty, we just don't know.
We don't. If we have to follow, you know, a lot of we look at what Broadway's doing, we look and see what Equity recommends, we look at what National Association of Teachers of Singing recommends for ensembles, and their guidance is Broadway is closed until May. It'd be a shock if we were able to pull something off before then. However, if somebody wants to hire us and put us up for a couple weeks in quarantine and have us perform in a bubble or something, I'm sure we can figure something out. You can email us at bookings@kinsey6.com, and we'll work something out.
We're also open
upstate
to
Washington, upstate New York, you know, away from people.
But also people can be booking for like 2 years from now, or, you know, next year.
That's true.
You know,
And we're also open to creating digital content for all of you out there who want to see 4 singing drag queens on your screens.
Yes.
We always have these voices available for you to purchase online.
Actually, that's the song Scalia that's on Quarantunes. The video for that was commissioned for a private event in San Francisco. So that would not have happened if someone had not commissioned that. So
And
I
maybe
think,
if the Quarantunes merchandise sells well, we could have an animated series.
yes.
But you know what? With all this begging for money, we're beginning to sound like Lindsey Graham. So I think maybe we
I
should.
know.
It's beginning to sound like
Alright.
the end of a real Kinsey Six show.
Say
That's
no
true.
more, say
All right.
no
Well,
more.
folks,
the
it's been
end.
fun. Thanks for spending
the
your
end.
evening with us. Buy our crap, give us money, and we
If
hope
you haven't voted, be sure to vote. And if you can,
Vote.
vote early. I've already voted in the state of Kansas, y'all. And I'm so excited.
I
Same.
voted in California.
Also voted in California.
I'm
voting
going
in
this week.
California.
Angel,
Woo!
you better show us your proof of purchase.
It's supposed to rain all day Thursday because Zeta's coming up the coast over here on the East Coast. So I figured no one's going to go on Thursday because it's going to be raining. So I've got it all planned out.
Good.
Nice. Lovely.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, that's all, folks.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Get the album,
We love
Quarantunes.
you.